Have you ever carefully scraped off the black, charred part of your grilled meat or burnt toast? Then told yourself it was fine to eat the rest? Almost everyone has done this. It feels logical. Remove the bad part, keep the good part. But what if the dangerous part is completely invisible? What if it had already moved deep inside the food, long before you even thought about removing anything? Today, I want to share the science behind something that most people have completely wrong about: burned food and cancer risk. The charred surface you can see is only a small part of the problem. When food is cooked at high temperatures, 3 distinct classes of carcinogens are formed, and each one behaves very differently inside your food and inside your body. The first is heterocyclic amines, commonly known as HCAs. These compounds form when protein-rich foods like beef, pork, chicken, and fish are cooked at high temperatures, particularly above 200 degrees Celsius. Here is the part most people do not know. HCAs do not only form in the visibly burned, blackened sections. They form throughout any part of the meat exposed to high heat. A piece of chicken that looks perfectly golden brown on the outside has already accumulated HCAs before it ever starts to burn. The charring just means more have formed. Research examining populations with high consumption of well-done and charred meats has found meaningful associations with increased risk of colorectal cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer, and pancreatic cancer. The connection to prostate cancer in particular has been replicated across multiple large studies. The second class, and the most directly relevant to why removing charred parts is insufficient, is polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, known as PAHs. These form when fat and juices drip from meat onto a hot surface. Flame, or charcoal, creating smoke. That smoke rises and coats the surface of the food above it. The most dangerous PAH is a compound called benzoapyrene, which has been classified as a definitive human carcinogen. Once inside the body, benzoapyrene is converted into a form that binds directly to DNA, disrupting the replication process and triggering mutations that can lead to cancer. But here is the critical point that changes everything. PAHs do not simply sit on the surface of food. They migrate inward, traveling through the moisture and fat within the food itself. Thinner cuts of meat and fattier portions allow this migration to happen faster and deeper. By the time the outside of your steak or pork belly is visibly charred, PAHs have already penetrated into the interior layers beneath. Cutting off the charred surface removes the highest concentration, but a significant amount remains in the tissue below. Additionally, every time you stand over a pan or grill while cooking, you are inhaling PAH-laden smoke before the food even reaches your plate. One long-term study found that poor kitchen ventilation alone was associated with a 49% increase in lung cancer risk. Another analysis found that long-term exposure to cooking oil fumes increased lung cancer risk by up to 74%. The third carcinogen is acrylamide, and this one is fundamentally different because it has nothing to do with protein or meat. Acrylamide forms in starchy foods such as potatoes, bread, crackers, and cereals when they are cooked above 120 degrees Celsius. That temperature threshold is important because it is reached routinely in everyday cooking with a toaster, oven, air fryer, or frying pan. Your lightly toasted bread, your crispy air-fried potatoes, your golden crackers. These foods are already generating acrylamide even before they turn visibly dark. And like PAHs, acrylamide does not concentrate only on the surface. It distributes throughout the food wherever heat has penetrated. Removing the browned crust removes only a fraction of the total acrylamide present. Inside the body, acrylamide converts into a compound called glycidamide, which forms adducts on DNA and causes genetic mutations. Animal studies have clearly demonstrated that acrylamide causes thyroid cancer, kidney cancer, and other tumor types. Human epidemiological studies continue to report elevated risks with regular exposure. So why is removing the burnt part not enough? 4 reasons. PAHs migrate from the surface into the interior of food through fat and moisture. Before you even see the outside burning, HCAs form throughout all heat-exposed tissue, not just in the blackened areas. Acrylamide distributes evenly through starchy foods. From the moment cooking temperatures exceed 120 degrees, and perhaps most overlooked, you are already inhaling carcinogens from cooking smoke. Throughout the entire cooking process, not just when eating. Now, the good news. You do not need to stop grilling. Science has also shown us highly practical ways to dramatically reduce these risks. Marinating meat before cooking is one of the most powerful interventions available. Studies have shown that marinating meat for at least 30 minutes in mixtures containing acidic ingredients, like lemon juice or vinegar, combined with antioxidant-rich herbs and spices, can reduce HCA formation by up to 90%. Turmeric specifically has been shown to suppress HCA formation by 69%. Rosemary and garlic also show strong suppressive effects. A marinade of olive oil, lemon juice, garlic, and rosemary before grilling is not just a flavor enhancer. It is a genuine cancer risk reducer. Lowering your cooking temperature is the second major strategy. Since HCA production accelerates dramatically above 200 degrees Celsius and acrylamide begins forming at 120 degrees. Choosing medium-low heat and extending cooking time reduces both significantly. Boiling or steaming meat never exceeds 100 degrees Celsius and produces virtually no HCAs or PAHs. These methods are the safest options. Trimming fat before grilling reduces the dripping that creates pod-generating smoke. For open flame cooking, placing a piece of foil under the meat prevents fat from hitting the fire directly. Always ventilate your kitchen. Run your range hood, open windows, and ensure air is moving while you cook. This reduces your direct inhalation of carcinogenic cooking fumes throughout the cooking process. Pair grilled foods with antioxidant-rich sides. Leafy greens, garlic, fermented foods like miso or kimchi, and a cup of green tea after the meal. All contain compounds that help neutralize carcinogen activity and reduce absorption in the gut. A note of caution: anyone with a personal history of cancer should minimize high-temperature cooked foods and consult their physician about dietary adjustments. Pregnant women should avoid charred foods as acrylamide can cross the placenta. Children are more sensitive to carcinogenic compounds than adults. So steaming, boiling, and lower temperature cooking methods are strongly preferable for family meals. Here is your 7-day action plan. On days 1 and 2, observe your current cooking habits. Note how often you use high heat, whether you marinate, and whether you ventilate. On day 3, prepare your first marinade before grilling. Use lemon juice, olive oil, garlic, and a pinch of turmeric. Notice how the meat stays tender without needing high heat. On day 4, run the range hood and open a window for the entire cooking session. On day 5, switch one meal to steaming or boiling. On day 6, add a generous plate of raw greens alongside your grilled dish. On day 7, finish dinner with a cup of green tea. The real danger of burned food is not what you can see. It is what has already moved where you cannot. But knowing this gives you the power to change it. Small changes in how you cook, not what you eat, can dramatically reduce your exposure and protect your long-term health. If this video was useful, please like and subscribe. Share it with someone who still scrapes the burnt part and thinks they are safe. We will see you in the next one.